do have an individual that was gunned down in cold blood. And typically what you would see are people that are wanting to go hard after the murderer because the guy committed a crime, he murdered somebody. And that's not what you're seeing. What you're seeing is social media come out and people seem to be supporting this guy who killed this other guy because he works in the health insurance industry, and people have been affected by that. Look, I understand the feeling because I myself, I'm involved every day in claims in which an insurance company is on the other side. Not necessarily health insurance, but it's an automobile insurance company or a Lloyd's of London type policy, and they're denying the claim for somebody that I know was injured as a result of somebody else's negligence. And I'm trying to find justice for this person. And so I see it all the time. And so it's not unusual for me, tongue in cheek, to say at a deposition or to say at the conclusion of a case, I will look at the defense lawyer and I'll say, by the way, tell your insurance company I hate insurance companies. And so that's kind of the feeling you're seeing with people because you have these companies making billions and billions of dollars and the execs making billions and billions of dollars. And they're doing so by neglecting or turning down claims for people that are innocent or that were, had nothing to do with the claim. But at the same time, you have to remember it's better than it used to be in this regard. There was a time when if you had a pre-existing condition, you couldn't get insurance. And then you had the Affordable Care Act come along, which we call Obamacare, which eliminated an insurance company's right to say, no, we're not going to insure you because you have a pre-existing claim. It's going to be at a higher limit. We're going to spread that across the public, so everybody's going to pay a little more, but you can at least get insurance. So it's better than it was 10 or 15 years ago. But you still have the situation in which insurance companies, for whatever reason, behind closed doors, the little bean counters, will turn down a claim which will greatly impact somebody, whether it's for cancer, whether it's for a major injury, deny a surgery claim, and people get upset and people are angry. And that's what you're seeing in the public right now is anger coming out and being directed at the insurance industry, because in this case, yes, you had an innocent person that was killed, but he was making 25 or 30 million a year, and so the public's not on his side. They would be if it was their father or their husband or their grandfather, but since they're distanced from that, they're not. And there's a lot of feelings going on in this thing right now.
When you pay your premium every month and you're loyal to them, I pay every month, and then you don't go to the insurance company when everything's good. You go when you're when you're hurting or when you've been damaged and or when you've lost property or whatever, and they go, yeah, I know you've been loyal to me, but yeah, we don't care. We're not going to do our end of the bargain. I mean, that is an emotional thing.
It is, and it happens all the time, which is why you'll get bad faith lawsuits. You'll see a huge claim against an insurance company for turning down somebody's, their roof got damaged in a tornado or a hailstorm, and it definitely needs to be repaired, but you'll have the insurance company say, no, we're going to discount that. We're not going to pay all of it. And those cases sometimes go before a jury, and a jury gets very, very angry, and you'll get some big verdicts. But here is where insurance companies are protected by your legislatures. So you're at a red light, and you get rear-ended at no fault of your own. And the insurance company's on the other side, and they decline your claim or they won't even offer your medical bills. And so you have no choice but to go to a jury trial. So you roll into a jury trial. The person that hit you, let's say they were a grandma, a little 65, 75-year-old grandmother who didn't mean to, but hit you. But you're having to sue her because the insurance company for which she has no control over has denied the claim. So now you're in trial where you don't want to be. Grandma defendant's in trial. She doesn't want to be there either. But the legislature has protected the insurance company to the extent that when you go to a jury trial, we don't get to tell the jurors that it's an insurance company on the other side. They think my client's suing grandma and have no idea that it's Allstate, State Farm, all those insurance companies that have pulled this trigger and made this happen. And so now the jurors go back to look at this claim and deliberate at the end of the case. And they're thinking, well, if we hit this, if we give this person money, this little grandma is going to have to pay it out of her Social Security. She didn't have any money. And so you routinely are getting very, very low verdicts or no verdict at all. You can get zero verdict in a clear liability case because a juror doesn't want to impact this little old lady, this defendant, when all the time it's a multi-billion-dollar insurance company in the background that the jury's never told about.
Wow.
And so that is how insurance companies are protected. And you can thank your legislatures for that, because if you go look at the contributions that these legislatures get when they run for office, it's always big insurance companies that are just funneling money to them, and that's how they get that law passed, so they're protected.